This video is brought to you by my latest book, How to Play Melodic Rock Lead Guitar, a comprehensive guide to doing exactly that, playing melodic rock lead guitar. This is not just some collection of scale patterns and tabs, although you do get plenty of those, but you also get an entire chapter on how to come up with your own licks, as well as video content, tutorials and demonstrations, loads of jam tracks, and all the way through I'm encouraging you to expand your fretboard knowledge and showing you how you can think in a more musical and melodic way. Check out the link in the description for more details. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. Tuesday, that means we're doing a top 5 list, and as I always say, you've seen the thumbnail and read the title, so you know roughly what I'm going to be blethering on about today, but just a little bit of background. Before I picked up the guitar at the tender age of 11, my first love musically was 50s rock and roll. 1970s was awash with that kind of thing. We think of the 70s as being the punk and disco era, but 50s nostalgia, you know, as evidenced by movies like Grease and TV shows like Happy Days, was everywhere. And the charts were full of bands like Shawaddy Waddy, The Darts. There's a band that often get overlooked these days, but great doo-wop band. Rocky Sharp and the Replays. Yeah, all great stuff. Fond memories for me. And as well as like the 50s rock and roll thing that I was really into as a kid, I loved instrumental music. I mean, I've told the story many times on here how I heard Apache by the Shadows for the first time. So there was like a kind of a nexus, a crossover there between instrumental music and rock and roll. And some of my favourite tunes, for nostalgia purposes, that I'll sit and enjoy these days remain those old 50s, in most cases, rock and roll tunes that are all instrumentals. So that's what we're doing today. My favourite rock and roll instrumentals, starting with
Peter Gunn by Duane Eddy.
Yeah, in the late 70s there was a TV show called the Kenny Everett Video Show. And Kenny Everett, if you're not from the UK, was a comedian, TV presenter, disc jockey on the radio, and just a little bit of an anarchic character, it has to be said. And he used to do comedy skits on this show, and one of the characters he played was this chap here, Sid Snot, a leather-clad biker dude, and every time Sid would kind of wander on into shot to deliver his funny little one-liner or whatever it was, there was this kind of earthy, guttural, fantastic growly guitar thing that used to introduce him, and it was of course Peter Gunn by Duane Eddy, and that was the first. I knew the name Duane Eddy. I think I'd heard it mentioned in an episode of Laverne and Shirley, if anyone remembers that. There again, there's 50s nostalgia for you. That was on the TV back then. But I didn't know who Duane Eddy was, but I found out, and it's this kind of this fantastic twangy guitar player, and off down to the local record shop I went, Alan Fernley's on Linthorpe Road in Middlesbrough. Many of us remember that place, and saved up my pocket money and bought a Duane Eddy LP, and yes, fantastic stuff. So that one's definitely on the list. Next,
Red River Rock by Johnny and the Hurricanes.
Yeah, a sort of a rock and roll remake of an old folk tune, Red River Valley. Just really catchy tune with a toe tapping beat and a very early electronic keyboard on there from, I don't know what year this came out, but presumably it was like late 50s. But just really, really, catchy tune, rock and roll. And it's just got a vibe about it, and again, it's I think I got this on do you remember those Ronco not available in any shops LPs that you could send off for, and it was something like 50 rock and roll grades, double album, that kind of thing. What else was on there? Well, all the usual suspects like Great Balls of Fire, and they obviously hadn't got a deal with whoever owned the rights to Elvis's music, because there wasn't any Elvis on there, but there was things like Red River Rock and Summertime Blues and loads of great stuff, and it was just Well, if you're not familiar with it, then check it out below. There's links to all of these down in the description. Sometimes it's hard to say why, to rationalise why you like a piece of music. You just know you do, and I think that applies in this case. But it's definitely on the list. Next.
In the Mood by the Glenn Miller Orchestra.
Now I know what you're thinking. In the Mood by Glenn Miller, rock and roll. Isn't that too early? Wasn't that from the generation before? Well, yes, but I'm going to offer 3 pieces of evidence that suggest that actually you can call it a rock and roll tune. First one is it's an up-tempo 12-bar blues shuffle. If you were setting out to write a rock and roll tune, up-tempo 12-bar blues shuffle, all of those parameters are there. So that's the first thing. Second thing is it did become a hit a second time. It was originally released in, I think, 1941, but it did become a hit a second time with the release of this movie in 1954, right slap bang at the start of the rock and roll era, really. The Glenn Miller story starring Jimmy Stewart. I can't tell you how many times I've watched that film. It was one of those that was on pretty much every wet, miserable bank holiday on TV when I was a kid. That and Bridge on the River Kwai as well, but all those classics. So in 1954, when that film came out, it was that the soundtrack was released, and that song, or that tune rather, became a hit again. And my old mum, God rest her soul, always used to tell me about the time that she was booted out of the Palace Ballroom in Redcar, sadly no longer there, for jitterbugging on the dance floor to In the Mood, her and a teddy boy boyfriend. If teddy boys aren't familiar to you, it was sort of the British youth culture in the 50s. Look them up. Her and a teddy boy boyfriend bopping and jitterbugging away on the sprung dance floor, which was verboten. That wasn't allowed, so they were slung out. So yeah, I think there's plenty of evidence to suggest that tune is you can call it rock and roll. It might be a bit of a stretch, but I'm stretching it here, and it had to be on the list. Next.
Sleepwalk by Santo and Johnny.
Oh, isn't this just a beautiful piece of music? The Shadows did a very fine version of it. So did Larry Carlton, actually. And Brian Setzer's had a crack at it. Pretty much everybody. Its appeal is universal. Just a beautiful, aching, melancholy but bittersweet tune. It's C to A minor to F minor, just borrowing that 4 chord from the minor, the parallel minor key. Absolutely gorgeous to listen to. I've had a cover of it myself. I'll tell you what, just for the hell of it, I'm going to put my cover of it up on Patreon today, so you know where to go to find all that sort of stuff. There is, as you know, $3 a month, etc, etc. Yes, I did have a little bit of a crack at it. I love this tune. It's one of those, I think the first time I heard it, the hairs on the back of my neck, because I still had them then, stood up on end. It was, anyone remember the Great British Institution of the little corner shop that used to sell things called Pop X records? They were records that had been like 45s that had been taken out of old jukeboxes, and that you could buy them for like pennies. And I think I probably bought that from there. You needed one of those little adapter things to sit in the middle, or when you got it back home to listen to it. And yeah, so just a random cheap little second-hand 7-inch single 45 that I bought when I was probably about 12. And yes, it's a fantastic piece of music. Had to be on this list. Next.
Hootzmon by Lord Rockingham's 11.
Now, strictly speaking, this one isn't an instrumental. There are some lyrics. Let's run through them. Hootzmon, there's a moose loose about this hoose. Translated that means, goodness me, there's a mouse loose around the house. Och aye, which is hell yeah. And Hootzmon, it's a bra bricht moonlicht nicht, which is, goodness me, it's a cold, bright, moonlit night. Okay, I have a Scottish mother-in-law. Okay, that's where the translation comes in. But again, just a dirty, dirty sound from that sax on there. It's just so guttural and magical. Can you hear the dog barking? He knows when I'm making a video. It's just so magical sounding, and I love it, and that's why it's on the list. So there you have it. My top 5 rock and roll instrumentals, and I'm sure you might have a list of your own. Let me know what those are down in the comments. If there's any that of mine that you're unfamiliar with, check out the list in the the links in the description. And that's the video for today, folks. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, found it entertaining and informative in some small way, then please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so. And why not drop me a like as well while you're at it. Don't forget the live stream every Friday, 5 PM UK time. Beer and chat on a Friday. It's a great way to kick off the weekend. I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.